Today, we're talking about the worst inventions of all time. We're putting them on this tier list, D tier being it could have worked, C tier, bad idea. B tier, who the hell approved this? A tier, you should be banned forever from patenting anything. S tier, you have to be put into prison for life. First up, we have the baby cage. This was a wire cage suspended from apartment windows to give babies fresh air. See, in the early 1900s, most folks were scared of tuberculosis, and they deemed this egregious contraption as a health cage. Not only is this an obvious safety risk, I mean, if one engineer installs this the wrong way, it's wraps. And not even to mention pigeons pooping, car smoke. It's just a terrible, terrible invention. We're putting this in B tier. Who the hell approved of this? Just take your baby outside, touch grass, take them to a park. It's not that serious. Next up, we have a man named Franz, and in 1912, he was on top of the Eiffel Tower with his brand new spanking innovative invention named the parachute jacket. Now, police told dude, test this parachute jacket with dummies, drop them off the Eiffel Tower. But no, Franz decided to jump off himself with his new invention. Let's just say it didn't end well. A tier, banned forever. And obviously Franz did not, make another invention after this. Next on the list is the Brazen Bull. This is a legendary historical torture device from way, way back in the day, centuries ago. They had a side door that a person was to climb into, and a fire was set underneath. And when they were screaming, burning inside this Brazen Bull, the acoustics of the screams would make the bull sound like it was coming to life. It was imitating a real live animal. Obviously a S tier, prison for life. This is clearly inhumane. Next up, diet soda. Listen, slapping diet in front of any unhealthy food or drink is stupid as hell. And you are ignorant if you think that this is actually helping you. Listen, just be unhealthy. It's a Friday night. Do what you gotta do, man, in moderation. But don't think that this type of stuff is helping. If you really want to be healthy, go drink water. C, bad idea. Next up, new Coke. We're staying on soda for just a second. Coca-Cola back in 1985 changed their original formula that, has been working for the previous 100 years and introduced new Coke. They received so much backlash that production ended the same week that it started. Before long, they discontinued it and went back to the original formula. It was a really embarrassing thing for Coca-Cola. B tier, fire the taste testers, get rid of all of them, because who the hell approved this shit? Now we're on to the Fushigi ball. Now this is one that I wasn't even planning on putting on this list, but the other day before I could record, someone at my job brought one in, and I realized how much of a scam this had to be for everyone.
Lots of kids bought this thinking it would float in midair, but that's not actually what it does. What we're doing here is something called contact juggling. Some could say it's a performing art, but it's really just sleight of hand tricks.
On a first glance, yeah, it's reflective and it's kind of cool, but you can't do anything with it. I mean, they could have made a game out of it, Hungry Hippos. They could have did something cool with the balls. Going into D tier, it could have worked. They could have been more creative, but obviously it was a quick cash grab. Moving on, we have landmines. Now listen, I understand war happens, but landmines has to be one of the most devastating, traumatic things for anybody or anybody around one to go through. One, if you step on one, you don't even know that you died. And even if you don't, seeing your leg fly 20 feet in the air is crazy. And even if you're not the person that stepped on it, think of the damage that does to you psychologically, standing right next to your homeboy and his leg blows 20 feet into the air. S tier, prison for life, especially because it's really, cheap to make, and they could be everywhere depending on where you're walking. Stay safe out there. Asbestos is next on our list. What many of you may not know is that asbestos has been used for thousands of years, dating back to 4,500 years ago in Finland. They were using it to make pottery and cooking utensils, stuff like that. But it wasn't until the 20th century until asbestos became mainstream. It was introduced as the miracle mineral. Heat and fire resistant, extraordinary insulation, strong, flexible, sound resistant, and very, very affordable. But I want you to listen to me closely. Anything too good to be true ain't true. And as most of us know, it causes cancer, among many other health effects and health issues. And if it wasn't for that, small hiccup, it could have worked. Tanning beds. Listen, find a nice outfit with some sleeves cut off or a little skin showing, put some sunscreen on, and leave the house and touch grass. We have been blessed with a natural sun. Do not go and do an indoor tanning bed. They can and will cause cancer. C, bad idea. Next up, we got a dangerous one. Radithor. Listen, man, y'all won't believe this one. Hear me out. This was a medical drink introduced in 1918 and billed as the cure for the living dead. Instead, it made normal people turn into the living dead. Eben Byers was a man in the 1920s, and he was as healthy as you could be. I mean, he was a Yale graduate, a wealthy socialite, a legit athlete and sportsman. And starting in 1927, he began drinking these bottles of Radithor. And by 1930, his jaw fell off of his face. Soon after, he was buried in a lead coffin, and 30 years later, they exhumed his body and found that he was still overly radioactive. Over 400,000 of these bottles were sold in a 5-year period between 1925 and 1930. S tier, obviously, prison for life. Very, very egregious. Next, we have to talk about the Radium Girls. We have to talk about what the Radium Girls actually made. Watch dials and watch faces. Long story short, this company knew that the dangers that radium would do to people, and they still employed women to work with it anyway. In fact, they would even use paintbrushes that they were using to paint these watch dials. They would take them and sharpen them up with their teeth. Eventually, dozens of women were dropping and their jaws were falling off their face left and right. None of these women truly ever got their justice or survived. Their lives were changed forever and cut tremendously short. S tier again, prison for life. Let's move on to the Hindenburg. The hydrogen airship, in particular, the Hindenburg, was viewed as a luxury liner, a high-class way of travel, if you will. That was until May 6, 1937, when some of the hydrogen on the Hindenburg was leaking and a spark caused everything to set on fire and eventually explode. It was one of the biggest disasters of the time. International news, front page headlines. 35 people sadly lost their lives. They genuinely needed better engineers and some people to be overseeing this to make sure something like this didn't happen. But I mean, I guess you live and you learn, but that doesn't excuse all these people that had to lose their lives. B tier, who the hell approved of this? And we need to give some consequences to the people who did. The atomic bomb. Listen, this can and will be a separate video topic that I will go into detail with one day. And I do know the reason why the United States decided to drop 2 atomic bombs on Japan, but nonetheless, this is going into S tier, prison for life. These bombs were devastating, and the things they did to random civilians who didn't have anything to do with the world's military was ridiculous. Now, let's move on to the last 4, and these are some personal irks of mine. 1 ply toilet paper. You're banned forever, buddy. Why would you do this? Why would you take something and make it twice as worse, half as good? Don't ever invent anything else again. Tipping. Now, listen, at restaurants with a good waitress or a good waiter, I totally understand. But dude, I live in a city where you're tipping people for everything. They not even doing anything, and it pisses me off that you get pressured to tip for no reason all the time. C, bad idea from the start. And that's also another video topic on how tipping even started in America. Uno. Now, this is probably an unpopular opinion, and it seems like a hot take to everybody I tell, but I hate that game, bro. It's all luck, no skill. I mean, I have a certain amount of cards. I can only go off the color that's put down. I really can have no true strategy. I don't get man, Uno, bro. D, could have worked. Add some skill component into the game, and I rock with it. Last but certainly not least, ASMR. This trend is the most annoying, asinine, stupid thing I've ever encountered online so far in my life. All this little all that little clicking and clacking and weird ass noises. I don't know what that's doing to some of y'all's brains and how it's firing some of y'all's neurons, but it ain't tickling my brain. And I never want to see this on my timeline again. It is torture. Real life modern torture for me. S tier, prison for life for whoever started this shit. Put their ass in a straitjacket in a padded room. Hey, listen, that's all I have for y'all today. I hope y'all had a little bit of fun with me. Drop in the comments some of the worst inventions you know of or have ever seen in your life, or some that you may have even thought of. Leave a like also if you like the video, and hit that subscribe button if you're with your boy. And I'll be back to see you real soon with another video. Yiddy!